You're listening to the Bathtub Refinishing Podcast. Powered by BathTubGuys Refinishing. We discuss the refinishing industry, interview owners and operators, and give tips to business owners and entrepreneurs. Now, here's your host, Daniel Montalvo.
All right, guys, welcome back. I am back from my little trip up north. I just came back from Massachusetts, New Hampshire, over visiting our friends over at Refinished Bath Solutions. That was fun. I got my notes here so that I try to stay on track, because I do go into little tangents sometimes when I'm talking, because it's like, realistically, for me, this is a lot like just therapeutic. I like to talk about my business stuff and get my energy out of my system. So yeah, I'm back. Hope you guys are doing well, especially my friends over in Texas. Quick note on that. If you guys haven't seen the last podcast episode, it's like 100% jokes. Okay. It was memes. We're memeing. I didn't start it. It was directed at me out of nowhere. And, he who shall not be named deleted their post, but I'm not going to delete mine because I'm petty that way. Also, I put time into it. You know what I mean? So we're going to let it linger and see if anything comes of that. But on the agenda for today, I want to talk about my recent little trip. It was just last week. As of recording this, I actually got back on Memorial Day. I went and visited our friends over at Refinished Bath Solutions. Me, my brother, my wife, and then I brought over Julian, who runs all of Texas and Jacksonville. So 5 location owner. And so I brought him over to for him to kind of come along with us. He's been with us to a few of the other trips too. Come along with us, see what's new over at Refinished Bath Solutions and what they're working on for BathTubGuys. And it was a good time, man. It was a good time. We got over there last week. I believe it was on Wednesdays when we landed, and we hung out most of Wednesday. Thursday, got right to it to work. And originally, I was going to go over there to facilitate the training. I brought my brother because he handles most of the customer service, and I was there to train people for the call center we're opening, because since we're moving with all these locations and building up new locations, Patrick has the space, and he's like, I'm just going to facilitate a call center so that as I keep opening locations up or expanding our existing locations, we have staff ready to take calls and do sales and all of that. And the eventual goal would be that all calls, including ours, are coming out of a centralized location. And the only thing that would be hyper local would be the commercial stuff, where you need that little bit of extra local touch. You need somebody who can go out there and do a cost estimate in person. So that's what I was over there to work on originally. Originally, I was going to be the one to train the customer service rep, but funny how things go. I take Alex, and Patrick calls me in to go in and actually facilitate a little bit of a manager, one-on-one training thing. And so he's like, hey, Alex, can you go in there and just get them started? And that getting them started just turned into him taking over the training. And in all honesty, it kind of made more sense that way. Just because he's the one that does most of the sales and customer service stuff here right now. So, it made more sense for it to be him. I've been out of that game for a while, although I still am very capable. I can sell. You know what I mean? I remember when South Carolina opened, their 4th day in, they got a commercial inquiry for 20 units, for 10 units, for 10 showers, I believe. And I closed it over the phone at $850 a shower. So I am very capable. They're fiberglass units too. Very capable of doing it, but it worked out a little bit better that way. I got to do some more big picture stuff, which is really what my role is at BathTubGuys and working with RBS. I talk to Patrick 17 times a day. So we're bouncing ideas off of one another, and of what to do with BathTubGuys, of what to do with RBS. and just a lot of collaboration and a lot of synergy going on, which is awesome. So I got to do that on Thursday. We trained up the new office girl. Funny story about that I may or may not touch on. I don't know. I don't want to be mean, but some things just didn't work. Either way, overall it was productive because the staff that is there, that is upper management, is probably going to take the reins of a lot of the early tasks until they build up a solid sales team. But it was just fun to really get to know everybody, because the last couple times that we went out to New Hampshire to Refinished Bath Solutions, it was mostly like me talking with Patrick. I had there was a lot of people from BathTubGuys there. And so because of that, they would just all kind of congregate together and just talk to each other. And there was very little like getting to know the other people over there. And trust, I mean, I've talked to like Aaron over there and Emma, but like it's always been small little tidbits. But because of the nature of this one being that, everything's already established, and we're not in there putting in 12 or 13 hour days. We're just putting in a regular work day when we're like going and helping them with training. When we were able to wrap up the training for the day, we all hung out. We went out to a local bar over there and just, hung out and talked and really got to know each other. And one thing about them is like, I feel like the culture of our businesses align a lot between Refinished Bath Solutions and BathTubGuys. Just because like the best way to put it, and I really hope this doesn't offend anybody, but it's like we both are running our businesses primarily with young, excited energy, where I feel like in this industry, it is a lot of super conservatism, not political conservatism. It's not getting political, but it's more like people who like are afraid to take risks, people who are kind of stuck in their own ways, who don't try new things. And I honestly feel like that's why we work so well with their team and they work so well with us, and why me and Patrick work well together, is that we're willing to try new things. We're willing to start something and make it the best version of itself before just discounting it and discarding it. And while, we're doing that, a lot of people still haven't even started trying to get creative in their business. They just kind of do things the same way they always have and then expect different results. And, I talk a lot on this podcast about the big wins that we have, whether it be like projects or new locations or what we're able to charge for a bathtub reglazing nowadays. And sometimes it does come, like, I'm not going to lie to you. Sometimes I am just like super proud and just kind of want to like flex a little bit, but that's not the main goal. The main goal is because like realistically, what good does it do to tell you guys you can charge that much too if you just follow everything I'm telling you to do? Because I'm giving the playbook out. I give it out every week when I do one of these. You know what I mean? I'm telling you exactly what we're doing to get there. I'm documenting it in real time and showing the social proof that it's working by opening these new locations, by showing you, I post on social media like signed quotes of people paying $9.49 for a single bathtub. And like people still just don't believe what I'm doing. And I guess the overarching point is for the people who do believe but haven't put in the effort or the time, or just haven't had the time to implement some of these things, for you guys to know that, like, look, you can do it. You just need to start. I want to inspire people more than anything. And I feel like my stuff and my style can sometimes come off a little braggadocious. It doesn't mean to be that way. It's more so that like I like to celebrate my wins, because I feel like I would want to work with a winner. I'd want to be part of the team of a winner. And it's not a coincidence that most of the hate that I get is from other people in the same industry who aren't winning, because the ones who are winning are friends of mine who celebrate with me. We lift each other up. The Danny Garcias and the Rubens and the Patricks and Casey Tubtex, like we all are like, damn, that's awesome. And I'm doing this and we're doing this. What's up? And we're keeping up with each other and we're always trying to push each other up. And then we get like a lot of hate, and it's usually from the guys who unfortunately haven't done anything. And so again, when I talk about these things, guys, it is meant to inspire you and push you, to let you know, like, motivate you to get you to that next level, because I want to see you guys win, whether it's with me or without me. But you know, to get back on track, it was a good trip. Boston's awesome, man. We so New Hampshire, for those of you who don't know, like, we were up in Nashua, which is where Refinished Bath Solutions is. It's about a 45-minute drive with good traffic to Boston. On a regular day, you're probably looking at about an hour and 20. If the Red Sox are playing, you're probably looking at an hour and 30 or 2 hours. But it was good. The food over there, dude, phenomenal. I'm from Florida. We get a lot of Spanish and stuff like that. Food over here, we got, like, you know, your regular American stuff, but over there it's just like, I don't know what it is, man. Like, every place tries super hard. Even the ones, it's so weird, because even the ones that have kind of lousy reviews, you'll go and it's like so good. And so we went to all the touristy spots. You know, we went to you know, the delis over there in town that make the big Italian sandwiches, and we went to Modern Pastry, which was good. That was the first time having that one. Last time we went to Mike's, which people who were local were like, Mike's is all right, but it's more of like a touristy trap. Try Modern Pastry. Insane. The entire day we were out in Boston, the line was like wrapping around the corner. But it was good. We for those of you who smoke cigars, man, we went to a little cigar lounge. That was pretty cool. There was actually like underground, so you had to like go like down the flight of stairs. Just being in the city, you go down this flight of stairs and you're like in this underground, like, speakeasy kind of vibe. It was super cool. Everything was table service too, which was cool. I do like going into the humidor, but like kind of getting served was nice when we were walking around the city all day. And it was just a very, very cool vibe. Boston's a cool place. New Hampshire's also a cool place. Lots of good food over there too. Lots of nice people. And just a good time, aside from the Refinished Bath Solutions stuff, and hang out with Emma and Aaron a little bit more, hang out with Patrick. It was just a good time being able to visit the city. And look, I always say this, like, we're from Florida. Florida's cool. Florida has old stuff, but like, Florida's not an old, like, Florida doesn't have old big metros. Like, Orlando's not that old. Everything here is new. So it's cool to go and see like really old America. And over there, you really do get like a cool taste of that. Like, everything in the city has like red bricks, and it's just like they preserve their history and they're proud of it. And it's just different, man. It's just different. It was a good time. But to talk more about that, overall, everything went good on the trip. They're getting a ton of leads out of Massachusetts, which is good. I believe in like 14 days, they got like over 30 leads. And I'm going to touch on it a little bit, but the customer service person that they were eyeing to use, I kind of clocked it a little early that she probably wouldn't be the best fit long term, and I kind of gave my recommendation to the office girls on what to do. And they tried her out a little bit more, but eventually they did let her go. And the one who's been manning the phones, just because it's his investment, he ended up buying the location from Paul to run it himself, is Patrick from Refinished Bath Solutions. He just saw the success that Paul was having and was like, if I put my resources behind this, not only can I uplift Paul to another level, but I will have something in my backyard that I'm proud of, and I can see my products on the ground floor every single day, not just hearing it from Daniel, but in all the other BathTubGuys locations, but running his own BathTubGuys locations. And I feel like realistically, it just made sense. It made sense for Paul and his current situation. It makes sense for Patrick. And I believe that him and Paul had a conversation of pretty much that Patrick probably has the means to take it further than Paul could, faster. And it's not that Paul can't do it or that he's incapable of doing it. It's just that Patrick has access to resources and connections that realistically would take a long time to build up. And, sometimes time is of the essence, and you look up and you're saying, well, I could either, join them, or I can, work my ass off and maybe get as good as it would have been having someone to back you, not just financially, but experience-wise in this industry and stuff like that. But Patrick's been manning the phones over there for a little bit, which is funny because Patrick, I've always said this and I joke around about it, but Patrick could just fuck off into the woods and golf for the rest of his life and he'll be okay. A lot of people who aren't high performers don't understand that guys like me and Patrick and Danny Garcia and Ruben and a lot of other people, we're incapable of truly taking our foot off the gas. We become obsessed with this thing or this goal, and then once we get it, it's cool, we did it, celebrate for 5 minutes, and then on to the next big goal. And for Patrick, he's already made it with his DIY stuff. He's made it with his property managers and selling to them, and basically all his stuff with the paint in particular. And he really wants to blow up a big service company, and that's it's been a dream of his, but it's always been how to what's going to be the vehicle to drive it. And now he's runs a BathTubGuys location, which is awesome. It just made sense. He supplies our paint exclusively, and it just made sense. It was too much of a no-brainer. It feeds his vision and his dream and one of his big goals. And for me, it gives me the security that I'm having somebody over there who's going to spare no expense mentally, economically, to make the thing work. So he's manning the phones, and it's funny because he hasn't really done any I don't want to say he's not working because he is, but he hasn't done this kind of work in a long time. But it's like riding a bike, dude. He picks up the phone, and after 2 days of almost no sales, because it's mostly the new person just really wasn't working out, and sales isn't for everybody. It's a tough gig, especially if you're new to the industry. They were already 2 weeks booked out anyway, so that's why they took this opportunity to try and grow that sales team. But Patrick picks up the phone, and first day he sells 9 of 10 leads. So there was a day where they get 7 new leads, a couple oldies from a couple days ago that responded later, and every single person Patrick got on the phone with the exception of, I believe, one, just booked everything. And at our new pricing structure. So we're talking silver package, no warranty, $499. We're talking 5-year warranty, your industry standard, $749. And then we're talking about the cream of the crop diamond package, lifetime warranty, next day buff and polish, and diamond glazed ceramic coating, $949. Patrick was selling almost exclusively gold and diamond packages. I think he sold 3 diamond packages, and the rest of them were all gold packages. So, and we're not talking just tubs. Those were the tub prices, but bigger jobs, tub and surrounds, full baths. So all in all, in just a matter of a couple days, he sold over $10,000 worth of work. Probably closer to 15 if I looked into the numbers. Maybe I should have done that beforehand, but just a couple days. And the reason I say these things is, number one, hey man, I told you guys so. I've been talking about it on this podcast for a long time about how if you believe you're worth it and you actually try and make your company, your business model, your money model, shout out to Alex Hormozy, $100 Million Money Models. That's a great book, and I'm following it. That's what I'm implementing in my business. But if you follow through and you make the customer feel like it's worth it, then it is. But if you don't believe it, the customer won't believe it. So we do believe it. We believe that the ceiling for our tubs are probably somewhere in the neighborhood of $1,300 for a single tub. And a lot of you are probably thinking that I'm fucking smoking crack. I will be sure to report back to you guys when we're selling those every day at that price regularly. Our eventual goal is to creep up to silver package being around $700, gold package being around $900, and that diamond package with the next day visit for a standard tub being $1,400. If we get to $1,300, I still think that's a win. I think anything in the 1,000+ range. But why? Some people, I've heard some things. My friends over there in Texas, making their little AI posts saying things are scams or whatever. Why? Well, number one, because I feel like a lot of people, number one, who are saying, why are you charging this much? Let's be real. A lot of them are coming from a place of envy. Why wouldn't you want to charge more for the thing that you're doing professionally that you've mastered? That's number one. Number two, though, and I think this is more important, is the context of a lot of things have changed. Those prices of $399 for a bathtub don't work and have not matured with where the market is. Now with consumer financing and a lot of stuff in home services, like remodels are astronomical in price. I have homeowners telling me they're getting quotes north of $30,000 for licensed contractors to do work in their house. And these are not always huge houses. Let's say conservatively, a bathroom remodel is costing someone between $15,000 to $20,000 for a licensed person to go and do these things. We're still barely a drop in the bucket at $1,000+ per tub compared to what a remodel would cost. And at the end of the day, that's what we got to think about. Back when bath remodels were $5,000, 10% of $5,000 is $500. But if remodels are up 2 or 3 times the amount of money they were before, and the refinishing business is not maturing with that, we're just leaving money on the table, number one. And number two, everything across the board has gotten more expensive. And I'm saying that for customers that may come on here and be like, well, you guys are just being greedy and taking advantage of blah, blah, blah. Well, number one, yeah, that's capitalism. Sorry to break it to you. But the other part of it is, truthfully, everything is more expensive and has gone up. And I honestly think it is an exploit in the fact that there is no real organization. There's only one real platform for the bathtub refinishing industry that we talk open and honestly about what's going on. And I believe that's mine. I know there's other people who talk about it on Instagram and they have their stuff, but I feel like there's nobody saying, hey, collectively, man, maybe we should look over here and try these things to better our businesses. I think that on the business side, it's almost exclusively us. Basically what I'm saying, I think that because a lot of people in the bathtub refinishing industry lack business acumen, that it is a major exploit where we're being way too kind to clientele. I think if you are, I'm going to put it like this. If in the big 26, in 2026, going into 2027 and onward, if you are charging like under $500 for a bathtub, you are the equivalent of the guys that when we came up, right? When we were charging $500 and you saw the guy down the street charging $100 or $150, I think you're that same guy now. I like, everything is more expensive. Gas is more expensive. The products we use are more expensive. Labor is more expensive. Taxes are more expensive. Vehicles are more expensive. Everything's more expensive. There is no way you're making really good money at that price point. A lot of you know it. And I talk about this all the time, but what is our cost per lead? Our cost per lead at BathTubGuys is floating between $50 and $60, but no company closes every lead. So if you close half of them, then your cost per lead is $100 to $120. If you close a third of them, well, now it's $150 to $200. And you got to think about these things. Most people don't close all of them. Most people don't close 50% of them. Most people hover around a 30 to 40% conversion rate. So how much is getting the work really costing you is what I want a lot of you guys to try and ration out with me. On the commercial side, same thing. It's a slightly different conversation, I think. But on the commercial side, you do give a little for the volume, 100%. You're not paying that cost per lead for every single job. So essentially, if you're doing a tub for $500 residential, and your lead cost, your real lead cost, so what it actually costs you to get that client, is probably somewhere realistically upward of $100 if you run ads, then you're still doing the tub for $400. You can say it's $5, but if you're paying to get the lead, it's really $4. And how often is a residential customer going to give you 10 tubs? Never. Like literally, it will never happen. So could you afford to make money at 300? Probably. Would it be a lot better to get it at 350 and you're still getting a good deal? Sure, 100%. But I'm trying to float around 350 to 400 most of the time if they give me volume. And when I talk about volume, I'm not talking about they give me 3 or 4. I'm talking about they're giving me 10, 15 to do it in a single day. That's the only time that stuff makes sense. But the same thing rings true. If you are charging $300 for a tub commercial and they give you 1 or 2, you're the same guy that you used to complain about saying those guys are doing tubs for $99. There's no way you're making money there. There's just no money to be made. You can try to rationalize it, but a lot of you guys know that there's no money to be made. So I will say, I think that in our industry, we are being taken advantage of by a lot of people out there not knowing business, not having that business acumen that I just talked about. And realistically, we are undercharging severely. So when I make these things talking about BathTubGuys is charging $949 for a tub diamond package and we're charging $750 on the regular, and our eventual goal is to be north of $1,000, you better believe that it's because I am trying, for my business anyway, to make more money so that I could outlast the competition, because I know that you guys aren't making money. And while I love you, business is kind of war. You know what I mean? I charge more. Maybe I make slightly less like sales, which realistically isn't going to happen because I charge more money so I can spend more money on ads, so I get more work, so I can charge more money at scale, so I can hire better salespeople who call the customer before you do. And it's a big, vicious cycle that continues to grow my thing. I'm telling you guys out there, there is still time for you guys to do it. But we are on a trajectory to eventually become the next big company in the space. And we're going to do it because we're going to run an extremely profitable model that could be recreated. And a lot of you guys listening who believe in what I'm telling you, maybe you don't want to join BathTubGuys, but you want your own slice of the industry. I would say start pushing towards that, because eventually, if you just think you're going to get like by undercutting, what you're really doing is putting yourself out of business. We all know what just recently happened with like Spirit Airlines. They were the budget airline for the longest. And people made jokes and this and that about the quality of the airline, but it doesn't matter. Their whole business model was we're the cheapest. And what came out with this bankruptcy? That they haven't been profitable for the better part of a decade. And what does that tell you? Is that you could undercut the big guys all day long, but at the end of the day, Delta's not going down. They're more expensive, but they have a better reputation. People pay more for the convenience. Every flight isn't packed to the gills because that's how they need to make money. You don't hear a lot in Delta about them booking 17 people on the same seat like happens with Spirit and Frontier all the time. And maybe you can start thinking about, like, am I putting myself out of business tomorrow for trying to just be the cheapest today? And then one little thing I'm going to throw in there is, if you're the cheapest and you think that that is a strategy, I'm just letting you know that is, in my opinion, the laziest cop-out for mediocre sales. The cheapest company in town is the one that can't sell worth shit. And that's almost always the case. So, back to the notes. Says, I'm not going to read the notes out to you guys. Future, though. What are we looking at in the future? I talked about it right now briefly, but we're looking to be the next big player in the space. Eventually, we're going to clearly be number 2, probably by this time next year. And I'm looking to overtake Miracle Method in revenue like soon. And I think we could do it with less locations because our business model is just going to be a whole lot cleaner. Now, the buy-in, I know a lot of people have been asking me, and I've been debating what to do about this, right? Because realistically, I'm just being honest. Again, I don't want this to come off like a douche. It might, but like I don't need people to want Bathtub Guys locations anymore for the trajectory we're going on. I want to, right? But I know a lot of people are like, well, can you do this, and that for me? And in the beginning, we were a lot more flexible because we wanted to get locations in to partner, and our buy-in was lower. And I talked about it on previous episodes. The buy-in was like $5,000. The buy-in now is $15,000. If you want to talk about a Bathtub Guys location, it's $15,000. Why? Because honestly, most people are making that within their first 30 days. It is a proven model at this point. It's going to make money. It's going to, as long as you are willing to put the work into it. If you want to buy a license for Bathtub Guys, that's what it's going to cost. And realistically, prime locations are probably not going to be available very long. Either someone's going to buy into one, or the locations that we do have are going to continue crushing it like they have been. And I might just expand into it myself. Literally me. Before, it wasn't literally me. All these other locations are literally not me. I'm running Orlando, and we take a royalty from the other locations. Patrick runs Massachusetts. He's planning on expanding out. But realistically, with our slice of royalty, we can probably afford to open a location a month right now. How much effort do I want to put in it? Probably not a ton at the moment, but eventually the numbers will not lie. And it would just make more sense for me to hire someone who's in charge of development and just keep it rolling. In the meantime, Patrick is probably going to do the same thing. We're thinking, if Massachusetts is going gangbusters like it looks like it's going, what's stopping us from going to New York, Maryland, Rhode Island? What's stopping us from taking up the entire eastern side of the United States? Realistically, do I want to partner with people? I want to uplift and help as many people as possible. But a lot of people didn't believe in what we were doing. A ton of people did, and a lot of them are on board right now. And I'm grateful for all of you. But that doesn't need to be the model for us to keep going. I'm going to grow with or without you. And this segues into the next point that I want to make, which is I've already proved that I will do it with or without you. When we started rolling out Tubcast in the beginning, there was a bunch of people who ordered and never got trained. And then I hear through the grapevine that they're having issues. And some of them I reached out to and offered to fly them out, all expenses paid, to come and train in Orlando on the product so that they can make sure that they know exactly how to use it and go back and use it. And I think one person took me up on that offer out of more than like 10 people. The point that I want to get to with this is that a lot of people tried it once, dropped it, went back to what they've been doing, and you're just doing what you've always been doing, which is fine. In the meantime, Bathtub Guys has been using it. We've been pushing up the ladder to the people who produce the raw materials to make tweaks. And when they wouldn't make tweaks, we found an entire new chemist to reformulate the entire thing to give us the tweaks that we wanted. And that resulted in what is now the new Tubcast 2.0 formula that literally you roll glass. You roll on a glass finish. Don't believe me? Here's the proof. I mean, it is undeniable now. This checks every single box that everyone said that they wanted. The problem is, realistically, right now, there's probably 3 or 4 companies max outside of Bathtub Guys that are using the product. I'm getting more people writing me than ever now that they want to try it, or hey, can I come in for training? I know I said no a couple months ago, but I see that new Tubcast and blah, blah, blah. And it's exceedingly becoming hard for me to tell people yes, because why would I? A lot of you guys, I feel like, and I don't want to, again, like I'm just being 100% honest. When I rolled it out, I thought I'm going to do this for the industry that's done so much for me. A lot of people, great people in this industry and trade, and I wanted to help as much as I could. And it shocked me how people were so like not willing to actually give something a fair shake. It didn't work how they drew it up in their head. So instead of getting free training to better their business for the foreseeable future, they just dropped it, bad-mouthed us in the process, but mostly just dropped it and just went back to what they were doing. Some of them talking nonsense while denying training, by the way. So it's like, well, I don't know what you want. You know what I mean? I even offered to fly guys over to people. Like literally, there's no additional cost. Like, I'll just fly a guy over there to train. No, I can't do that. No, it's whatever. But I'm getting to the point of when I think about it from a business standpoint, at this point, it's not just Daniel, what Daniel wants to do. I have 11 locations behind me looking up like, what's going to be the call, coach? And I have to think what's in their best interest now. And in their best interest, it is for me to keep it as tight-knit as possible at this point. So what I'm getting at is, if you are not a BathTubGuys location, you're probably shit out of luck as far as getting product. It's likely just not going to happen unless you're willing to pay a lot more per kit, but you're not going to get our pricing. It's just not going to happen. That's even further solidified now by the fact that Patrick owns a service company now. He owns a BathTubGuys location now. There's no incentive anymore. We tried really hard, but that's what everyone gets messed up about me and my work ethic, and Patrick and his work ethic is like, sure, we're trying to get you guys onboarded, but that's not, I'm not, and he's never going to put all his eggs in one basket. The entire time behind the scenes, we're saying, and if these guys don't buy it, we're just going to continue expanding our own thing, because I know how it works. My people know how it works, and I can train people on making it work. And so that's what we did. And so this entire time, we're building locations. They're doing it. They're getting fantastic results, great reviews across the board. Customers are happy. Technicians are happy. They're getting paid more. It's safer. It's better. It's stronger. And the biggest thing hanging over our head from, the professional's point of view was, well, the finish isn't quite as pretty. And now that's solved too. And I just feel like I do myself a disservice because we basically figured it out alone to now not capitalize on the fact that we put in all the work. So truthfully, that's where we're at. If you want a BathTubGuys location, the buy-in for a license is $15,000 now. And we can talk more about what that'll look like. If you're interested, if you're not interested, 100%, I would just say, aside from the Tubcast stuff, take every word of advice that I'm giving out in these things, because I'm giving the playbook out for free. Read Alex Hormozi, $100 Million Money Models, Leads, and Offers. Those 3 books, they're gold. And start thinking about your business differently. And that's what we're doing. Price things higher, but make sure the value matches the increase. Start thinking about your business rather than a linear thing into like a 3-dimensional thing that can be fluid. So like, I know a lot of guys are like, well, I won't do a tub for flippers because I do quality. Offer a package that makes sense for the flippers where you still benefit from doing the work. A lot of guys will just leave potential money on the table and potential clients because they think, well, they'll never pay my price. What if your price didn't have to be that price? What would you need to take away from the service to be able to still achieve the end result that customer wants without hurting your business? Oh, if I didn't have to warranty it and I didn't have to sand or strip it, I could probably get away with doing that tub for that price and still make a profit. Well, if you know they're never going to call you back, why isn't that an option? And on the other side, on the flippity flip, we all want to be fair, but if somebody wants to spend more money, there is not a business in this world that will cap off on what you can spend. You go into a car dealer and you want to buy a car, and there's unlimited amounts of accessories and add-ons you can add to the damn thing. Why are you limiting where your company could potentially go by not thinking about it more creatively? I'm going to leave that part there because I just feel like those of you who have been listening, who that resonates for, you guys are already doing it. And then there's the rest of you who just listen and just shake your fist at the air like, that dang Daniel and his bathtub guys, and he's here for his $750 with his roller. And yeah, you're damn right. You're damn right. I'm doing it better. I'm doing it safer. I'm doing it stronger. And I want you guys to win too. But if you just hate, guess what, man? There'll be a bathtub guys near you very soon. So yeah. And, look, we charge more than a lot of people out there, but we are providing a better service, a better customer service experience. We're doing all the things that a lot of people who charge cheap can't do, and that's why they're willing to pay more money. And it's not always just about the end result. It's about the means to that result too. And we do all the other stuff exceedingly well. Getting the tub refinish is the given. That's the thing that we're supposed to do well. But the other things is why people pay more money. We have a good presence about ourselves. We show up to the jobs on time. Guys are respectful. They get good reviews, all those sorts of things. And a lot of people didn't believe in what we were doing, like I said, but now they're starting to believe. And I think a lot of it is just, it's too little too late to a certain extent. And like I said, anyone who's outside of a Bathtub Guys location, you probably are going to be hard pressed to get a deal with us in RBS to get paint unless you are an extremely big bulk buyer. Most of you are going to have to get comfortable probably paying about double or triple. And if you don't want to, you can go back to spraying tubs, man. Or you join Bathtub Guys, do a licensed location. If you're done completely running your own show, there's also management opportunities. If you want to be a manager who's paid very well in a new location, we can put up the infrastructure around you and build you up. You know what I mean? If you want to, have a job that pays you around $100,000 a year and you're just done, and you show us that you're worth it. Like I said, we'll build a team around you if it makes sense in the market. But that's kind of where it's starting and ending as far as Tubcast access and stuff like that. And we're trying to just keep it in because, again, I'm just touching on it real quick. We put in all the effort to get it to where it's at right now. And now there's 10 other companies, 11 total with mine, but there's 10 other companies looking up, expecting me to do what's in their best interest. And it is in their best interest for me to, for lack of a better word, kind of just be greedy about it a little bit. And again, I don't want to be, but a lot of you guys who picked it up and put it down without giving it a fair shot, who turned down free trainings, who did this, that, and the third to not better your business, and now you want to try it again, there is none of that because we already tried and you guys rejected it. So we just moved on. And I guess the last point about this, because we're 43 minutes in at this point, and I touched on this a little bit, but this is like at the end of my notes, and I think it's an important point. While everybody was just doing the same old, even the people who were excited about what we're doing, and it's just the type of people we are here at Bathtub Guys and with Refinished Bath Solutions, continued to improve and to build better and to just make something that's substantial. So what I want to say is a lot of people never even start. This goes to you, your business, making improvements, maybe plugging some of the stuff in I talk about on these podcasts to improve your business outside of mine. Because I'm comfortable and I'm very secure in what I'm doing. And I know it's going to blow up because it's already doing it. But if you've been on the fence about running those ads, about, offering your services differently, about hiring help, just know that by the time that you start and fail 2 or 3 times and then figure it out, the odds are that a ton of people who are listening to this right now, or just your local competitors, would have never, ever started. And so what are you waiting for? If I did it, and I'm proving it in real time every single time I do these podcasts, that we're doing it bigger and better every single week. What are you waiting for? If you want to grow your thing big, now's the time. Everyone else is asleep at the wheel. It pains me to say it, but I think 2/3 of this entire industry is asleep at the wheel. There was no original ideas going on up here. There was no changing it up. There is no, ways we're looking at bettering the business side of things. So if you have ideas to be different and to stand out in your market, what are you waiting for? Everybody else is never going to start. And if you start and fail 2 or 3 times to get to the answer, you're still faster than the guy who never fucking started in the first place. And that right there is an overarching theme for entrepreneurship in general. How many people do we know who say, I'm going to start this business, I'm going to do this, that, and the third? And those of you who have businesses know you could smell the bullshit meter from a mile away. Because I didn't announce to the world that I'm starting a business. I just went and did it. You know what I mean? And by the time I ate shit 2 or 3 times, now I have a working model. And most of the people who aren't built for this will try and fail and never try again. And you know it. And then there's the other portion of it, which are the people who they'll say that they're going to try, and then they never do. And again, a lot of people in this business say they're going to try new things and never do, or try and fail. I tried hiring a guy and he sucked, so it's just going to be me until I die. All right, man. I've said it before and I've said it again. If you're in your 60s and you're doing manual labor as a business owner, there is something catastrophically wrong. None of you signed up for business ownership to be a slave to your own business, to own a job. That's not, you can rationalize it now because of how things turn. Every single person envisioned themselves overseeing a team, uplifting people, and having something to be proud of. So I'm going to leave it with that. Appreciate you guys coming through. Like always, you guys are awesome. I love you all. If you guys have any questions for me, feel free to ask them. I can answer them on a future podcast too. I want to do some more stuff like that too. Questions, advice. If anyone wants to come on for an interview, I'm down to do that too. But if not, I will just continue documenting the journey for BathTubGuys Refinishing and where we go next. Myself. Because I've done it myself to this point and it's working out. Appreciate you guys. Bye-bye.
You've been listening to the Bathtub Refinishing Podcast. If you liked what you heard, be sure to keep up with the Bathtub Guys on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram, or visit BathTubGuys.com for more. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.